In 2022, I took over 60 flights. I've been flying more than 10 years. I've never flew so frequently as in 2022. However, if you're flying so often, and sometimes I had to take like 4 flights a week, then you notice a lot of things and you learn quickly how to make most out of your flying experience and how to stay the most productive and how to actually get good sleep and so on. The first, biggest and best recommendation, and if I had to give you only one, it would be probably this one: to get a credit card which allows you to get an access to a lounge. Be very careful about all the conditions. Credit cards might be sometimes a little bit tricky. If you use them too often, then you get some extra points. However, you have to always repay back and make sure that you repay back because you don't want to go into debt. However, if you get the correct and good credit card and you know how to use it, then you have the access to the lounges. And believe me, it is a game changer. Probably not so much if you're going to take a short flight, about 2 hours, and you have just one destination. But especially if you have connecting flights, and sometimes the connection takes like 3 hours, sometimes 6 hours, then the lounge is fantastic, and it gives you usually really nice warm and cold food, some drinks, sometimes there is alcohol included, and shower. And just generally, it makes you not as exhausted when you have this little time in the lounge as if you're chilling with everyone else in the waiting area. Not all lounges are, of course, super nice and that luxurious and so on. Sometimes there is little food, sometimes there is no shower. However, it makes all this experience way more pleasurable, really. So make sure, if you are flying often, to get such a credit card. If you're quite afraid to get a credit card just because of the lounges and so on, you can always pay, just like if you're going to the lounge just on one single entrance. Usually it's like 20, 30, 40 euro. And I really think that if you have have to wait long at the airport, then it definitely pays off, because the airports are always expensive. And if you want to pay for your food and for, I don't know, one one bottle of water, then you will anyway end up spending 15 euros. And if you should pay, like, I don't know, like 20, 25 euro, 10 euro more, and you will get all these things, then that's, in my opinion, definitely worth it. The second thing, and one of the most important as well, is even if you're European citizen or you're American, or doesn't matter from which country you're from, but I feel like especially we Europeans are quite used to that we don't need visa, and especially traveling to South America so often, I never needed a visa. And when I was traveling to Cuba, I was shocked that I need some, and I discovered it quite lately, and then I was quite stressed about whenever I'm going to be able to actually enter the country or not. I noticed that people who are from Asian countries, they need basically visa for every single country they're going to, so they're quite used to, and it's usually the first question my friends ask me, like, and what about the visa requirements? Unfortunately, I didn't know this this struggle, because, as I said, Europeans usually travel whenever they want, at least for a limited period of time. So visa requirements are extremely important. I'm currently in Indonesia, and it's been a little struggle as well, just to figuring out what are the best visa and how long we can stay, and then contacting the agent and doing it on your own. That might be complicated and time consuming. So just try to figure out the best way possible for the visa requirement while you're still in your country of origin, because often if you want to apply for a visa, you need to do it in your own country, and when you arrive to the country, the destination, then it might be too late. Some of the tiny recommendations which you always should have with you when entering the plane is having your AirPods, having some books, or download the podcasts or YouTube videos. I recently started using YouTube Premium. I absolutely love it because you can just download the videos in your phone and listening to them, which makes even the long haul flights really enjoyable. By the way, I absolutely love long haul flights when you have the time for yourself, but it's good to use this time, especially if you're flying like 13 hours. I also think that having a jacket and long pants and some warm socks is a must, even if you're traveling in hot countries, hot weather, I think that the plane is always quite cold, and I hate when it's too cold. Some airlines will borrow your blanket, but in some airlines you have to pay extra for the blanket, and I think it's just much nicer to have your own jacket. Also, the airports sometimes are extremely cold. Actually, I've noticed that the countries which are really hot, like Cuba and I don't know, Indonesia, are extremely cold inside. Like, they love using their AC. My other recommendation is, if your plane was delayed or if it was cancelled or whatever, always ask for a refund. Try to ask for a refund already, if you have time, at the airport, at the counter of your airline. They usually will give you at least some vouchers for the food or something. It's nothing big. They usually give you like something for €5 and everything costs €15 and more, but at least you will get some discounts. And also, there are a lot of companies which will, while you're already back home, they will try to give you the refund. You can either apply for the refund on your own and you have to deliver all the documents. It is quite paperwork, or you can find easily on Google companies which will sort it for you. They will always take like quite a big percentage of the amount of the refund, but anyway, they will help you. This has happened to me when I was flying from Italy back to the Czech Republic, that our flight was delayed about 3 hours, and then we were waiting for the refund. So some people say like, I don't want to spend time applying for this refund, but usually the money you should get, they're quite high. Like, you can get up to €600 only if your flight was delayed more than 3 hours, and I think this is really nice. Another thing I didn't do before, but now I think it's just it's nice and it doesn't cost anything, is to sign up for the frequent flyer programs, which will allow you to collect points and collect some extra miles, and then eventually you can fly cheaper, or you can even fly completely for free. This is especially helpful if you're flying long haul flights, like let's say from Mexico to Amsterdam and so on, from America to Europe and so on. The long haul flights, I guess, are usually 6 hours and more. Because it's long distance, then you collect a lot of miles. And if you were not signed for the frequent flyer program and you already took some flights, I guess that for most of the programs you can like even collect the points after. Like now, when you took the flight a month ago, then you can still sign up and get all this extra miles. And then some little tiny recommendations from my part. If you're getting food and you still feel quite hungry and you feel like you should not ask for extra portion, then don't hesitate. I'm quite always hungry, so don't be hesitant to ask for extra food or extra wine and so on. Usually the cabin crew is really helpful and trying to serve you as the best as they can. And my other recommendation is to get a seat close to the bathroom, because I think it's nice when you don't have to like run over the entire airplane. And my favorite other hack is trying to sit in front of the plane, because then you're probably either you're the first in and first out, or you're the last in and first out. In any case, it's, in my opinion, the best part of the airplane to be in the front or in the back on the opposite. But sometimes when you're going out of the airplane, they put the stairs only in the front, and then you have to wait until the entire plane goes out. So I think the first part of the airplane, in some airplanes there are this first class and business class, but then and it's the economy class, then I think this is the best one. And I think for a reason there is a first class, because they go first and first out. When you're flying long haul flights, it's extremely important to stretch your legs periodically. During the long haul flights, your legs get really stiff. Stretching your legs will help prevent blood clots, and deep vein thrombosis. Even though if you're young, like I'm 25 years old, I definitely notice that when I'm sitting 13 hours, my body just doesn't feel really good. Sometimes we sleep, but usually we don't sleep during the entire flight. So try to stretch your body as much as you can. It's really important. Also, one of my other tips is to bring a bottle of water with you, especially when you're waiting at the airport. I find quite pointless paying $5 for water if you can get water for completely for free, because I think water should be for free. Now we're getting almost to the end of this video, so now we're getting almost to the end of the flight, let's say. And I think when you're going to a new destination, often you experience a jet lag. Flying across the time zones can be quite exhausting for your body, and I always try to prepare beforehand for that. So let's say if I'm trying to make my sleep schedule a little bit different, let's say one night before the flight I don't sleep in order me being able to sleep the entire flight, or trying to go sleep earlier or later depending where I'm going to. And also what I like is also downloading the app with different time zones and already checking out what is the time in the destination, like week before I'm going to, just mentally prepare for the time zone, because now I'm in Indonesia and the difference with Europe is 7 hours, and it's crazy how big difference it is now. Like I'm going to sleep and my friends and my family are still at work, or I'm waking up and my friends are going to sleep after party. You know, like 7 hours of difference is massive. So just trying to get used to this. Those were the most important recommendations and things I've noticed when I flew so frequently. I think this year I'm not going to fly so frequently because it was quite exhausting, but still I already took a couple of flights this year. I still am enjoying flying, though I have to say that flying as often, it's not so exciting anymore. It's just a way to travel, and it's the fastest way to travel. I am really curious to hear your opinion. If you have some tips about how to make the flying much more enjoyable, please let us know in the comment. I'm super curious to hear that. And if you enjoyed this video, please let me comment anyway. Subscribe to this channel, maybe send it to your friends who are getting ready for our next trip. And see you in the next video, guys. Bye bye.